Hi, beauties. Hey, this is Robin Nielsen, and this is Hormone Breakthrough Wednesday live. Woo! So excited to be here with you today. So today, I want to talk a little bit about fear, because fear is a lot of times what keeps us from reaching our health goals and living the life we want and the life we so desire. And if our health isn't where we want it to be, we are not living the life that we want for ourselves. I was speaking to one of my clients this morning, and she was saying that she was able to get through the month and still live her life. And that's a really big deal for her, because she's someone who suffers from incredible migraines. And so we've been able to get her to a place now where she actually has no migraines anymore. She has sort of the hint of a migraine coming on, maybe 1 to 2 days out of the month now, instead of for a week. Used to wipe her out. And now she can still live her life. It's so much better. It's almost completely healed. And it was a brave journey for her, because everything that she did affected her brain and her migraines. And so she was afraid to try anything. And it's so interesting that she's coming to mind right now, because I had not anticipated talking about her. But she's an incredible example of how she's been able to overcome her fear of this incredible, intense pain to take the next steps on her healing journey. Oh my gosh, when I started working with her, I don't know, 4 months ago or so, it was a little rough getting started, but she has started embracing more and more of the path that she needs to be on, and she's just seeing incredible changes. She can actually live her life. And so of course, if our health is not in the right place, then it's really hard for us to live the life that we want, even live our lives. It's really hard. I was talking to a gal yesterday, absolutely adorable woman, and same thing. If she's not working, she wants to go to bed. She turns down so many social events, every social event, because she just doesn't feel like she can show up for it. She can't get dressed for it. She doesn't want to be present for people. She doesn't have the energy. She doesn't have the inner stamina to do it. And so her life has really, really shifted. And, sometimes we don't know how far down we are, because it's such a gradual process of, going from feeling well to feeling really horrible. And so until we start to heal, we don't really know how bad off we've gotten. So I just want to, put that out there so that, when you begin to heal, life starts to happen. So I want to do everything I can to help you get those fears out of the way so you can step into what's next for yourself. So I made a post in our beautiful Facebook group here. You may have seen it. You may have been one of the ones who responded, that says, what is your biggest fear around getting healthy and feeling well? And what was interesting is that I didn't get the answers that I was quite looking for. And if you were someone who responded, I would love for you to sit with this just for a moment. And if you were not one of the ones who responded, I still want you to sit with this for a moment and think about what is your health crisis doing for you? How is your health crisis serving you? So it was really interesting for me. I can be a little bit vulnerable here and share that that my husband and I, we've been married for 36 years, and we had a lot of years of rough patches. So there was kind of a string of years that we had that we were not very connected. And it was really interesting, because we worked with these incredible relationship coaches, incredible. And they asked me what I got out of it. They said, well, what did you get out of that disconnected time? Because my husband was doing his thing, I was doing my thing. We were like two ships passing in the night. We were not connected. And they said, what did you get out of it? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, our relationship sucked. Well, it was horrible. It was like, we either fix this or we part ways. And I thought, well, gosh, I never thought I was getting anything out of it. He just wasn't showing up for our relationship. What the heck, right? I wasn't taking responsibility for my part in that. And then I got to thinking, why was I holding on to that relationship that sucked? Like, why wasn't I expecting more out of our relationship? And I thought about it for a little bit. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're really putting me on the spot here. And I came up with, I had my freedom. I was not accountable to anyone for the first time in my life. My kids had left home. This is really becoming vulnerable for me. I didn't imagine sharing this either. Oh my gosh. My kids had left home. I was, in my nutrition healing business. I loved it. I was making a difference for women worldwide, right? I was doing my thing. I wasn't accountable to anyone. And I said, freedom. I had my freedom. I didn't have to make dinner. I didn't have to, do the laundry, fold clothes, get kids off to school, make lunches. I mean, for the first time in my life, I was free, right? I was independent, except for I still was married and I still had that going on, but he was doing his thing. So I thought, okay, I can do my thing. And what I got out of it is I got freedom. So I exchanged my freedom for a really terrible relationship with my spouse, the person who I love the most, my best friend. And we'd probably been married about 25 years at that point. And I was just done serving others, I think. I think I really needed a chance to restore myself, find my own ground since my kids had left. And it was just a real transition period. And of course, I never thought I would go through that. Never in my wildest dreams. Oh, we're never going to have problems, right? Never going to have problems. Oh my gosh. So what my fear was, my fear for having a healthy relationship was my loss of freedom. It was my loss of freedom. So that's what I want you to figure out for yourself right now. What are these health challenges giving you? They must be giving you something because you're still stuck in these health challenges. And there's no judgment here. It's just where you are, right? So if you still have some incredible health challenges, what are you getting out of it? What are you getting out of it? And I'd love for you to post right here. Like this is a completely safe space. So for a lot of us, it's protection, right? We don't have to show up. It's protection. It's protecting. We're being protected, or we're getting a lot of attention. So sometimes when we're not well, it brings us a lot of attention, and we're attention starved for sure. It is a way to get attention, right? And so maybe your biggest fear of getting well is that you won't get enough attention. That could be your biggest fear. So what I'd like to read you right now are some of the fears that you posted. And then I want you to sort of shift back to kind of what is it that you're getting out of being sick right now that you're afraid to lose. So here's some of the posts that you made. One was failure of not being consistent, failure of trying and working hard, added only to not see any results, failure and consistency. So this person is fearing failure. I think that's so real and it's so common because so many of us have tried a gazillion diets, a gazillion programs. We have done so many different things and we failed at every single one of them. And it's not your fault. So I want you to kind of let go. We're just going to shake that out for a minute. Whew! Right? We're going to let go of that guilt and that shame around failing. We're going to let go of the failure, the sense of failure. We're just going to let go of it. Because it wasn't the right program for you, right? It wasn't the right direction. It wasn't going to serve you to get well anyway. That's why you failed at it, because it wasn't working. Right? You didn't have the support you needed. And you were probably counting calories or counting points and over-exercising anyway. So you were still really tired. Your cravings were through the roof. How can you succeed? when you do a program like that. So the gal I was talking to yesterday on a hormone breakthrough session, she said she's done every diet program out there and she's failed at every single one. So it's no wonder that we might fear failure again. Of course, so natural, so natural. So I want to share something right now with you. It's a couple of different ways to look at fear. So the first way is forget everything and run, right? That's what we know to do, forget everything and run. And the second meaning of fear is face everything and rise. Face everything and rise. And the choice is yours. You get to decide whether you're going to forget everything and run. And kind of for many of us, that means just continuing to hide out and not living the life that we so deserve. But for many of us, we are going to step in to what we fear and we are going to face it. And as a result, we are going to rise up and heal. Oh, doesn't that feel so good? So, so, so good. Oh my gosh, I'm going to share a secret with you. I actually have a 3-day live event coming up in January that you will be invited to. It is right here in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. It's January 17th, 18th, and 19th. We are going to rock it together for 3 days, and I am scared to death. But I'm doing it anyway, because it's what we fear that is what we need to step into next. It is going to be so powerfully amazing to spend 3 days together. But it was something that I really feared. So I'm stepping into my fear. So when you have fear around something, it's the universe's way of telling you it's that next thing to step into. Whew, how does that feel? Okay, so I want to share a few more of the fears that you posted around your health and getting better. So what's your biggest fear around getting healthy and well? Another woman posted, not at all afraid of getting there, afraid that I can't get there. All the efforts I put in over the years and so little to show for it. I'm exhausted from running in place, getting nowhere. I so hear you. Oh my gosh, that was me for years and years and years. In fact, a lot of us, a lot of us are running. We're running from our life. We're running because we don't want to face our fears. Another gal posted, I agree with a lot of the above. It always feels like you're getting somewhere for a short period of time. So we often see results, right? If we go on a diet, we see results for a couple of weeks, or we see results for a month or even 3 months. But then when we go off the diet because it's just not sustainable, all the problems that we resolve come back, right? The weight comes back, the mood issues come back. All of the health challenges come back that we resolved for a short time. For every step forward, 2 steps back. I just want to quit. I want to give up. Okay. So I want to hear more about that. What's going on with you there? It's so lovely. I love how you support each other, by the way. One woman responded, I got you. That's so awesome. I love that. So amazing that we show up for each other in this powerful way. Oh, another woman said, fear that I can't make it. So it's another fear of failure, right? Fear of failure. I love the idea that if we don't fail, we can't learn. If we're always successful, we will never learn anything new. So failure teaches us that next thing. And I fail all the time. I'm not afraid to fail. But I always think, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I do better? So yeah, let's try to release that fear of failure so that you can step into the next thing. Yeah, failure, if you don't fail, if you never fail, it just means that you're not stepping in to what you could really accomplish. Fear that I can't get there and will never feel good again. I like this one. I have no fear whatsoever because God hath not given us a spirit of fear. So beautiful. I can't wait to reach that milestone. Mine is more of concern. Can I achieve my goals? Yes. Yes. Fear that I will lose the weight and then gain it back again. I've done it my whole life. 50 pounds up, 50 pounds down, over and over. Last time I lost it, I said I wouldn't gain it back. Oh my gosh, that was me. I've gained hundreds of pounds over the years. I've lost hundreds of pounds over the years. It wasn't until I did it for life, I did a sustainable way of living for life, that I finally reached my health goals. And in the training that I did last week, I was talking about, all the weird symptoms I had, right? So not only the common ones that we think about, the crazy irritability, the acne on my face, my chest, my back, my, weight gain, that I could gain 5 pounds in a day and I just couldn't ever keep it off, right? Those common things that we know and talk about and motivate us to make change. But I had the weird stuff like the constipation and the, rough elbows, and I had receding gums. I had so many weird other symptoms that also improve when those major symptoms improve. So another beautiful woman said, I fear that I would not be able to believe it. It would be too good to be true, especially since I've been dealing with this hormonal imbalance for as long as I can remember. I have vague memories of when I was well. So I was, I had health challenges, ever since I was a baby. So many of us have never known what it feels like to feel great. Completely understandable. I never knew I could feel this great. Who knew that you could be happy every single day, that your weight could be very stable, right? That your digestion could work right, that you had great energy and great mental clarity. I never knew that that was possible. All I knew was the state I was in for most of my life, which was irritable and tired and brain fog, right? All those things. Really, horrible skin health. I had all of it. Never knew that I could be well and happy. I never knew that I could breathe. I had asthma as a child. In fact, this morning, I shared in our 5 element group that I was walking along the beach with my dogs this morning, and there were some big waves happening. And I thought, oh, it might be fun to go out in those waves today. I love the water. And I noticed that the waves that were breaking were very dark in color. They were kind of a red color. And that tells me that there's what's called a red tide happening right now. And a red tide is this algae bloom that happens certain times of the year. And I had gone out surfing one day in a red tide, and I had to dive under some waves with my surfboard, which is hard to do. And I couldn't get a deep enough breath to dive under that next wave. I was freaking out. I couldn't breathe because I had memories of when I was a child and had trouble breathing. And I finally got myself into shore, and I sat up against the wall with my surfboard on the sand, just trying to get a breath. And I talked to the man who was sitting next to me when I finally was able to breathe enough again. And I said, gosh, I barely got myself in. I thought I was going to die out there. This was just a couple years ago. And he said, the red tide has that effect on some people. It's an allergic reaction to the algae. Oh my gosh, I was so happy to hear that. I didn't know what was going on with me. I just couldn't get air in, and it freaked me out because it brought, I had like flashbacks to when I was a kid. So it's things like that you start paying attention to that can really make a big difference. So I didn't know that I could feel so good, but you just hold on to someone else's belief. So this morning we had this great panel. I interviewed our entire team at Insulite Health. Angie, Rebecca, and Lindsay, and I'm sure you've seen them in this group. They're crazy amazing. They suffered from all the same symptoms that I've suffered for, plus other weird things, right? Angie had gained 70 pounds. She was on 9 different birth control pills. Rebecca had gained 65 pounds with her 2 children. They both have released all of it and kept it off for years. And just, when I asked them how they did it, they said, well, I stopped over exercising. I started eating better. I started taking the Insulite nutrients, right? It's all those things, replacing missing nutrients, eating a whole real foods diet that supports you, right? All those basic things. And they've achieved health that they never in their life dreamed they could achieve. Incredible. So I'm just going to read a couple more. Another woman posted, I agree with all those things that have already been said. Only I want to add that I'm getting older now. I'll be 48 in a few days. Not only do I want to feel better, but I want to be attractive again and well. And she says, let's be honest, old isn't attractive, thin or heavy. And so I would just want to speak into that for a moment, because when I was in my 20s, I felt old. I remember using face cream when I was in my late teens, early 20s, because I was so worried about being old before my time. I wanted to keep those wrinkles away. And that's because I had experienced old from the time I was a young person. Now I don't even worry about face cream, and I'm in my 50s. I'm like, well, my skin's feeling a little dry. I'll put on some cream, right? But I don't think about it every day. I don't worry about my wrinkles. I'm sure they're I have some, and I know that more are coming. I'm just not worried about it because I feel younger now than I did in my 20s. And that's one thing that came out of the panel discussion this morning, is that when Angie was in her 20s, she felt really old. So we can feel vibrant, confident, and sexy no matter what our age. We just have to improve our health to get there. Doesn't that feel great? You can actually remove wrinkles by getting a good night's sleep. Did you know that? How cool is that? So amazing. All these simple little things, right? So, when my successful clients say that they got healthy by doing nothing, it's because they got more sleep. It's because they ate more than they ever have. It's because they exercised less and just did movement that really supported their bodies. Doesn't that feel so great? So great. So that's where I'm going to end it today. I just want you to think about the possibility and changing fear from, the old standard that we know, which is forget everything and run. And we're going to just pivot that to face everything and rise. Because when you step into your fear, incredible things happen. And there's nothing to it but to do it. Because along with fear comes overwhelm. And overwhelm happens when we are stuck, when we stop taking action. But when we take action, we just take that next step, right? Overwhelm goes completely away. Fear goes completely away because you're focused on what you're doing and not what you're not doing. Well, I just want to honor every single woman who put herself out there and labeled her fear. I want to just give you a huge shout out. You are incredible. And so are you, even if you didn't post. And you have an opportunity now to comment right here on what your biggest fear is about getting healthy. So what's that one thing that you're getting out of not being healthy and reaching your goals? What's that one thing that you're getting? So for me, it was, I felt I was going to lose my freedom if I had a really strong relationship with my husband. So what is it that you think that you're gonna lose if you get healthy and have the world at your fingertips? All right, beautiful woman, you can totally do this. It's been so great spending time with you here today. Sending you so much love. Bye for now.